Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Marvel Legends Onslaught Wave Build-A-Figure Onslaught, which I guess is called Red Onslaught. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know that Onslaught was Red Skull at one point, or at some time, or in some universe. I didn't know anything about this. So, I guess it doesn't really matter though, so who cares what I knew? Here's the thing though, supposedly, and assuming it happens, we are going to get a Magneto-style head for this Build-A-Figure in an upcoming wave. So fingers crossed that actually happens, because that's the Onslaught figure I really want. I'm curious what you guys think about the whole Red Skull version. Is it like a big deal? I don't know. Do you guys like it, or do you just really want to get the Magneto head? That's where I'm at. Anyway, it's a pretty decent Build-A-Figure. There's a little bit of paint on it, not so much. Decent amount of sculpt work on it, and generally nice, good shelf appeal. So I'm pretty happy with it overall. So let's take it off the stand and take a closer look at it. Okay, so as you might have guessed, this guy does have some size to him. He's not one of our more recent, small, tiny Build-A-Figures. He's not huge like they used to be, but he's got some decent size to him, so I'm okay with it. He stands roughly about 8.5 inches tall, so he's not huge by any means, but he's alright. He's about 21 centimeters. So some decent size. Not a ton, but enough. And like I said, he actually has some paint work. You can see how the head, the Red Skull head, has like this wash going on. So the head there has the same kind of wash as... I do like that head sculpt, by the way. I think it looks pretty good. So it has the same kind of wash as we see throughout the recessed parts of the armor. You see some on the legs there, on the inside of the thigh, bicep. If we pull this thing off, you can see a little bit more on the back, toward the waist. You can see it by the elbows. So it's a very tiny bit of paint. Obviously, it's not a huge amount by any means, but it's enough that it makes the figure look pretty good. I do wish he had kind of like some more shading going on throughout, but it still looks pretty good. And the purple is nice and metallic. They painted these parts of purple on here, and it's not the cleanest paint job, but it's okay. It's not too bad. Looks pretty good. I like the sculpt. The shoulder pads do not have any range of motion though. Even though they're just peg in from the front and the back, they don't have any range. So they will limit the shoulders a little bit. Here's the thing that I hate about this figure, which... maybe it's accurate, I really doubt it though. The cape part, this back part, it just pegs in the back like this, and it sticks out just like that. It's a giant flat piece of plastic, essentially flat. Really detracts from the look of the figure. From the front you don't notice it too much, but it still just looks really weird to me. Is it supposed to be that flat and not line up with like that collar piece? It looks really, really weird. It's off-putting, especially considering the rest of the figure is pretty well done. I don't care for that cape too much. So let me know what you guys think. If you definitely know more about the character than I do, if you know anything about it at all. So is this version of Onslaught supposed to just have this flat, leafy looking thing on the back? I thought it was supposed to be a lot more curved, but I'm only speaking from the Magneto version, which I remember being a lot more robust. Anyway, it still looks really cool. So we have the head, which is on a ball peg. Looks like that. So ball peg with the hinge. So it has pretty good range of motion. You know what? We're taking this off. It's in the way. So pretty good range of motion. Some people have trouble moving the head around once you get it on. It's a little stiff, but you can do it. So just be aware that the ball peg will be a little stiff in the neck, but it has good range once you do get it freed up. So I really do like that. And I'd like to point out again, I really, really, really like this head sculpt. I think it looks fantastic. It's so... menacing looking, and they nailed it with the paint job. The eyes look good, the teeth look good. Very, very pleased with that. I like the sculpt work of everything though. So like I said, these have no range of motion at all. The shoulder pads don't move, so the arms are very limited. Normally they'd have good range of motion, otherwise it's just these get in the way. Like I said, full range underneath, it's just these are blocking it. Bicep swivel works all right. You can't go too far because the triceps go too high up. They kind of prevent it from moving. But you do get the bicep swivel. You get your elbow hinge with a bicep swivel in there also. The hinge, I think, could use a little bit more. It's not quite 90 degrees. The wrists have a hinge and a hinge and a swivel. And we can rotate. Thankfully, I was so worried that they weren't going to do this. The forearm armor can rotate with the hand so that it doesn't just stick like that. And then you have the hand like that. It looks really bad. So you can rotate it around and it looks good no matter what. So that's a nice thing. We have a diaphragm joint which goes all the way back, pretty far forward, side to side. Swivel's okay. It's a little wider than it is deep, so it doesn't have the best range of motion, but it's not too bad. The hips are T-jointed ball hinges. Not so far out to the side, but I don't think you really need it. They do go pretty far forward. You have your thigh swivel built in. Double jointed knee works just fine. No problem at all there. And then for the ankle. Here's the thing with the ankle. It doesn't go that far forward. Why are we not focused? Are we focused? We're not focused. So the ankle doesn't go very far forward. You can kind of force it up to that little notch right there, but that shin armor blocks it completely. So you're not going to get much range of motion out of the ankles, which is really unfortunate because the rest of the leg has good range. They go all the way back, they just can't go too far forward, which, like I said, it's a really big bummer. And we do get our ankle rocker out of that. So it's a pretty good Build-A-Figure. It does have some flaws, like I've pointed out, but I think for the most part, it's pretty solid. I think it might be the best Build-A-Figure we've gotten in a really long time. It's definitely better than Absorbing Man. Leagues better than Absorbing Man. I didn't care for that one too much, even though most people did, though I think most people just liked the character and wanted to like the figure, even though it was technically not very good, but that's beside the point. This one is pretty good. So I do recommend it. I think you guys will like it. There it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.